Bit of a change of tack now. We're going to look at some local issues with the Shadow Communications Minister Jason Clare. Your opposite number in the government, Malcolm Turnbull, has suggested that the cuts to the ABC, that if the organisation wants to cut programming, that's a matter for it. But he says suggestions that popular programs or services are at risk because of budget savings are not credible, that the back office cuts can be made as opposed to frontline programs and so on.
Well, Kieran, I'd make 2 points. The first is that the night before the election, Tony Abbott said there'd be no cuts to the ABC and there'd be no cuts to SBS. Then in the budget, they broke that promise and cut the ABC and SBS's budget by more than $200 million. And now we're told that there's another $200 million over the forward estimates that are going to be cut. Now, Kieran, we don't know what the impact of those cuts are going to be on the ABC because the secret report that's been written into these cuts is still on Malcolm Turnbull's table and he's refusing to release it. And so there's no way of knowing what the real impact on the ABC is going to be until Malcolm Turnbull releases that report.
Well, he knows what's in it, and he's saying that back house operations can provide a lion's share here in terms of the savings, that the important programs, like you know, the news programs, but I guess Peppa Pig and those sorts of programs as well, that they won't face the chopping block. Excuse the pun.
Well, Kieran, he's asking you to trust him. And after they lied about this before the election, why should you trust them on this now? I'm asking the government just to do a simple thing, and that is release the report. Release the report that's on Malcolm Turnbull's desk that explains where these cuts are made and what the impact of them will be. If they don't release the report, then you can't trust anything they say on this.
Is Labor in a case of tit for tat here when it comes to the Palmer-led inquiry into the Queensland government? It does seem like this is a personal vendetta that's being played out through the Senate.
Campbell Newman's mum, when she was in the Senate, chaired an inquiry into the Queensland government. There's been inquiries by the Senate, led by the Liberal Party, into Traveston Dam, into the Beattie government's handling of local government amalgamations. This is not new, Kieran. There's been inquiries by Senate committees into state government behaviour before, and I'm sure it'll happen again.
I want to ask you finally about this issue that we've had sort of simmering away in terms of the side issue to the terrorism matter, and that is a ban on the burqa. That's a proposal from some. Peter Credlin looks like she was trying to tone down the rhetoric on this and dial down the tension from what she has said in to an LNP member. What do you take on this issue at the moment?
Look, I think people should be able to wear whatever they want, whether it's a bikini or a burqa. It's up to the individual involved. But I'd say 2 things. I wouldn't like to be George Christensen today. I suspect he's on a spit roast in Peter Credlin's office right now, because it's one thing to leak against your colleagues, it's another thing to leak against one of the most powerful people in the government.
He's saying it's nonsense. He's put out a statement saying the story's nonsense, and he told the journalist that.
Well, the journalist obviously doesn't think it is. There's a more important point here, though, and that is that what's happening overseas and what we're seeing happening here in Australia is scaring people. And I had an Anglo-Celtic woman come up to me in a shopping centre on Friday and ask me, you know, straight-faced, whether it was safe to take her kids to school. And on the other hand, you've got the Muslim community feeling victimised, being spat at, being yelled at with racist taunts, or you had a woman pushed off a train the other day. A leader in my community got a death threat the other day with a phone call threatening to cut her head off. Now, when you've got the community feeling like it's being pulled in both directions, there's an obligation on all politicians here to work together. As Malcolm Turnbull said last week, if you're saying things like this, you're just playing into the terrorists' hands. We need to work together, and the best thing George Christensen could do is just to put a sock in it.
Jason Clare, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Kieran.